Good morning from Sacred Space at Titania's Realm. It's 10:21 a.m. on the 10th of February 2024. I've not long got out of bed. Feel slightly better today because, astonishingly, I went dancing last night, even though I was so sleep deprived yesterday and really feeling quite ragged around the edges yesterday. But I went out, I had 3 Jack Daniels, danced wildly, and felt much happier and contented having moved all the energy through my body. And I came home. I had a very, very hot Epsom salt bath with 4 big handfuls of Epsom salts for the magnesium hit, and went to bed about 4:30 and fell asleep instantly, thank the gods. Although, I'd been quite active dancing. And woke up at 9:30, I think it was. So what's that? Another 5 hours solid sleep without any interruptions to pee, which was good, because just being able to lie down and sleep the sleep of the just and the newly transmogrified is good. But I'm still a bit sleep deprived. I'm still playing catch up. But anyway, so it was a kind of the night started off a bit peculiar because I left early enough, thankfully, otherwise I would have just had to give up. But I had all my makeup on and my burgundy coloured corset on and my skirt with all the sugar skulls on it, with glittery sugar skulls, and I wore my sexy stiletto, high-heeled strappy sandals, and I looked glamorous and lovely. And so I get to Eagle Lane or down that way, and I drive around to Charlotte Street to look for a park. Got no parks, so that was annoying. And went round to park in the Uptown Centre, parked in there, got out the car and realised I didn't have my driver's licence for ID to get into the club, which is kind of silly because they probably would have let me in because they know me now. But anyway, I thought, in case they're having to adhere to some weird, strict rule, I better go home, get my ID, right? So I freaked out. So I go to pay for the parking because I thought they'll probably charge me as well, which I was a bit annoyed about. But no, they didn't. They let me go straight out without having to pay. I suppose because it happened, within a short time frame of arriving there. So that was good. That was one good thing. So I get out of the Myer Uptown, whatever they call it now. It used to be the Myer Centre car park. Myers, my mother's maiden name, so I kind of resent that the family name's been stolen from us by the city of Brisbane. But anyway, it doesn't matter now. I think because Myers not there anymore, doesn't own the building anymore, or some weird shit like that. Anyway, just as a segue. So off I go, drive home determinedly and intrepidly, get home, grab my card and jump back in the car, drive back into the city, but this time I went through like Camp Hill through East Brisbane Way, which felt like it might be a bit quicker. It actually isn't, but I just felt like I was achieving something going that way. So then I get there to the Brooklyn Standard. I found a park at the top end of, I don't know what that street is, but further north of the Brooklyn Standard, just up from where that customs building is. It's very pretty along there. They even lit up a tree, and it all looks very pretty. So I'm walking down thinking, oh, bejesus, here I am. And I brought an umbrella too, but I left it in the car. So I'm standing in the queue and I look up, it starts sprinkling with rain. I thought, oh, here we go. I'm in my beautiful stilettos and I'm going to have to, run to get my umbrella if it pisses down, but then it'll be too late because I'll be wet anyway. So I'm just sitting there going, oh, what the hell? This is a night that everything's sort of kind of gone wrong, but also gone right too. Just silly little things. Oh, it's getting hot in here. It's getting very steamy and hot. One moment. I could open the window. Let's just open it. Fresh air, people, fresh air. So anyway, I get in the club and, everything was fine. I finally got there. I think it was about 11:30. So by the time I got in there. And, danced with Nerida, came very late in the evening. Danced with her for a while. And she's a lovely, lovely young woman. And we chatted amicably and no, I had a nice night. I chatted at the end of the night when I left to the bartender. I think his name's Tyrone, I'm not sure. But I'd taken off my shoes and I was telling him how I'm time fighting and space banding and still wearing stilettos. And then he said, oh, I used to try my mum's stilettos and walk around. He said, they're really painful. And I was laughing so much about that too. And then I was telling him all sorts of silly little things, really. How I used to wear my mum's authentic stilettos that had a steel kind of nail as a stem. Original authentic stilettos, still from the 50s and 60s, right? And I said when I was a teenager, I used to try on his shoes. And it's weird how I tell people anecdotes about my mother since I don't like her very much and try not to think about her. But on the subject of stilettos and how I used to wear her shoes and asked to wear her shoes, I guess it was kind of appropriate, applicable to the topic. But yeah, I was kind of thinking to myself, why are you talking about that evil cow? And it just brings up old wounds. But I must be healing in a way because I can mention my mother and even, take off her accent without this sort of feeling of a knife implanted in my chest anymore, So that's a good thing, I suppose. Quite a good thing. And this evening, I'm early evening, late afternoon, I'm going to meet my friend Tarina, whom I know from the casino days. I used to dance with her there. And it's her birthday. So she invited me to come and have a few drinks with her over at some place near where she works. So I'm looking forward to that. I haven't seen her for about 18 months. It's been about 12 months since I said, isn't it time we met up again and saw each other? So, so I'm looking forward to seeing her and wishing her a happy birthday. And tomorrow I'm going to visit my friend Jared. I haven't seen him since Boxing Day. So I'm having quite a little social butterfly life at the moment. Fluttering around, seeing friends, and it's lovely. Before I forget, I woke up this morning from a very interesting, well, not particularly interesting, but very detailed dream. For some crazy reason in the dream, I dreamt that my friend Scott from Alter Egos was coming to visit, and presumably, with the rest of the band, and I was putting on some kind of party, and I'm in this house, and it had quite large rooms, but there were a lot of bedrooms. It was about 5 or 6 bedrooms, and kind of a weird shag pile carpet, it's a colour, I don't like the colour beige, so it was kind of a very pale bisque type coloured beige, like almost pinky, which would have made it okay. But it was amazing how I was shown the colour of the carpet. And I'm just looking at it going, this can't be my house because I would never have chosen that carpet. That's the first thing I thought, right? And I was like, huh. Anyway, and so I kind of grabbed a vacuum cleaner, which again didn't look like the vacuum cleaner I currently have. and I'm running around with this vacuum cleaner with my hair flying everywhere going, I need to make sure everything's clean. Scott from Alter Egos is coming, as if he would visit me, you know. But it was just so funny in the dream. And I went, yeah, and the men are coming, because I call them the men. And, you know, well, they are men, because it just sounds ridiculous to call, you know, men in a band that I've been following for 13 years boys, because they're definitely not boys anymore. We're all getting very long in the tooth, honeys. But anyway, so in the dream I'm like frantically going around, have I got enough food to eat? Oh, yes, I've got food, I've got snacks, I've got everything. So I wasn't worried about food. The food was under control. And I'm like, I wonder what Scott will think of my house. It wasn't my house. So I don't know where I was in this dream, astral traveling or something. Anyway, it was a nice house. It was, but everything was painted very white and very pristine and almost clinical. But that's a good omen when you dream everything's white and clean and, you know, almost has a kind of a glow to it. I thought, oh, that's a good omen. So anyway, but I'm running around, going from room to room, vacuuming the carpet, and I was going around all the edges, and each bedroom had a single bed in it. So I was set up for having, you know, people come and stay, but only single beds. I was like, that's a bit odd. And then I'm clearly talking to someone, or maybe myself in the dream, but so I didn't have a sense of someone being there, but I must have been talking to someone, and I'm saying, oh, Crystal spread, my daughter Crystal spread all her property out through at least 4 bedrooms, and now I have to go in and clean everyone, and she's driving me mad. Why can't she just stick to one room? Which is totally what Crystal would do if we had a massive big house. It'd just be spread out. So I pick up this bag of all these empty like bottles, but they weren't so much wine bottles as kind of stubby kind of drink bottles, but glass. So, and I go, oh, this must be her perfume collection. I don't even think she has a perfume collection in real life. I used to collect perfumes. I collect old perfume bottles. So, but anyway, I haven't done that for many years, and I don't have anything of real value, because I had a cleaning lady many years ago smash my beautiful Factice Fiji bottle, which was worth a fortune. It's so hard to get Factice bottles. So after that, I kind of gave it up. I thought, what's the point? I can't have nice things, you know. Also, they're hard to get. But anyway, I segue out of that. So anyway, I'm picking up this big garbage bag full of glass bottles, and I'm looking at it going, why is she collecting those? And I picked them up, and they literally made the chinka chink chinky chink, you know, sound of bottles clinking together. And someone behind me went, what's all that for? I went, oh, she's just a slob. So but they were clean bottles. So I just chucked them down. I have no idea. My daughter's a hoarder, which she is a bit of a hoarder like I used to be. So anyway, well, I'm still sitting on my hoard of crystal and china and, you know, all my jewellery supplies and things like that. But there's things that I'm actually, you know, I only keep what I'm going to use now, because there was too much clutter, people. That's one advice I got from dear old Dave, a.k.a. Wiglet, a.k.a. that dreadlock nitwit that played me for a fucking fool and was savage for about 7 out of the 10 years that I knew him. He said to me, you need to declutter your life, Tanya. In those days when I first met him in 2014, I had 3 households of stuff stored here, right? My mother's, Crystal's, mine. Anyway, it all had to go. But anyway, so I digress. So it had to go, and I had to live my best life. So anyway, so I'm picking up these bottles and putting it down, saying to someone, oh, this is going to take forever and they're coming soon. I don't have time for this shit. And then someone behind me said, oh, just keep vacuuming. But the floors were actually quite clean. I said, no, it'll be fine. They actually look okay. I'll just do a quick spot clean, you know. So I just quickly whipped around. And I wasn't sort of feeling in a frenzy anymore. I was feeling like I had everything under control. Everything was decently and nice. But look at the single bed, and it didn't have any sheets or doonas or anything. It had a pillow, but it just had a mattress protector on. And I said to her, must have been a female then, but I said to the person, I don't know if she sleeps here. There's no sheets on the bed. I said, she probably sleeps in the other room. But I said, look at all this stuff. And then we sort of looked again, and there was like books and plays and all sorts of stuff just scattered around. I was like, oh, well, I said, I don't mind living with my daughter since I've got plenty of bedrooms here. But I said, I just wish she'd confine it to one bedroom, which is reasonable, I think. Even in waking life, I'd be like, yeah, contain your stuff to one room. Anyway, so I carried on in the dream, going from room to room and looking around and thinking, whose house is this? Clearly it was mine, since I was the one frantic about making sure it was all tidy. And then I kind of went into the kitchen. I can't remember what the kitchen kind of looked like. Didn't focus on that, but I was like throwing the food. And I was like, yay, visitors! And then I woke up. So all the stress was the main theme of the dream was about having visitors coming and someone that unexpectedly coming to visit me, which I was so excited about. And then trying to vacuum the floors and make sure it was all clean for the visitors. So yeah, I was like excited about the prospect of having visitors in a party. My friend Nigel last evening messaged me, and he said, have you had any visitors? So that's probably where that dream stemmed from, because I thought, it's a strange question to ask me. He lives in New Zealand. And I was like, what visitors? And I went, nah, my daughter's estranged to me now, so I don't see her. And I said, Lynn hasn't been here this week, so I haven't seen her. But I mean, I do see Lynn often. She is my main and only visitor. And then I have Rati come to clean on Thursday, and that's the only interaction I have with people, apart from my, going out dancing on a Friday night. So anyway, yeah, but I just wanted to mention that dream because it means something important, but I don't know what yet. Means I wish I had visitors. Yeah, maybe. Or I am kind of going to a party tonight because we're meeting at a restaurant, but so that's a party. So maybe that's it. The dream's kind of all the anxiety about going to a new venue that I haven't been to before and seeing an old friend I haven't seen in a long time and all that excitement. That's probably what the dream's connected to. But anyway, kisses to you, Alter Egos and the Brooklyn Standard. I had a lovely night last night, and I appreciate you. Thank you very much. Had a nice time. And yes, so on that note, we continue with readings of even date, 10th of February 2023, and it's titled Breakdowns Bring Restitutions and Resolutions of Fortitude and Angelic Reprises. My hair's a bit buffy hair. Up she rises, carefully teetering on her nascent uprising, again in my stilettos. Yes, here's the peculiar thing, that the last few nights have been absolute hell and up all night peeing. Last night, because I was out dancing, drinking the Jack Daniels, I didn't actually need to pee while I was at the club either. But I was only there for about 2.5 hours. But I didn't have a lot of nocturnal peeing last night, and I've observed that on the nights I go dancing, I don't have as much interrupted sleep getting up to pee. Probably because my body is so fucking exhausted from the wild shamanic dance that it just lays down and does its thing, right? Instead of this bad behaviour getting me up all the time, trotting to the loo, trotting back. So yeah, I actually feel relieved that I actually didn't have to get up all night again. Thank goodness. But so it tells me that if I can do that once a week, after drinking Jack Daniels 2 or 3 glasses, sometimes 4, then how is it that when I don't drink alcohol for the rest of the week, I can't sleep and I'm not peeing all night? There's no logic to that, because you'd think the alcohol would make me worse, right? But maybe the alcohol on top of the mirabegron drug just works and synergistically and knocks me down. Who knows? It doesn't make sense. But don't get me wrong, I'm not going to start drinking Jack Daniels every night on the hopes that I won't be up peeing all night, because that's no way to live your life, people. But yeah, I've noticed that the nights I go dancing and dance really wildly and joyfully and triumphantly, I sleep better later on that morning, right? So maybe it is just my berserker, well-padded Boadicea Viking body just needs the frenetic exercise to wear itself out. That could be it too. But I haven't had energy all week or motivation. Like I've only taken Charlie for one walk around the block this week. And when Bobo was alive, we used to make a practice of walking every day, that little 10-minute walk around the block, which isn't much, but even then used to exhaust me sometimes. We used to force ourselves to do it, Charlie and I, for Bobo's sake. And now I don't force myself anymore, but I felt like a walk the other day, which did me the power of good, actually. Get out in the fresh air and spend quality time with Charlie, you know. She's looking out the window and talking to something, twittering away, being a bird. So anyway, I probably will go back to bed later on and have a little wee nap, because I feel supercharged from the dance, but at the same time I feel like I'm going to collapse. It's a weird feeling, but I often feel that way these days. I just have to go with the flow and fight through it. Here's a photo my daughter Crystal took of me at Myala, Mount Glorious, just on twilight. So I had my iPhone in my pocket. I think it was in my pocket. And that's what that glow is next to my left hip. But yeah, she takes quite nice artistic looking photos of her mother, the entity that used to be her mother and still is, but never mind, darlings. Let love, let God, let go, whatever. My true beloveds always swing back to me when they're ready, including daughters. I know that. So I'll just let it go. She's probably busy with her new man that she did tell me about 6 months ago. Hopefully she's making me a grandchild as we speak. Creepy Mama T. Well, for the love of God, she's 38 now. Time is of the essence, people. Anyway. So here's me stomping around in the forest, looking like a short little fat hobbit, because that's what I actually look like. And my hair looks nice there, though. Yeah, but I always have this, because I've got broad shoulders and my entire body hangs off these cheekbones, like Jermaine Greer's quoting Absolutely Fabulous. Do you remember that? I used to love that show. Jared and I, many years ago when it was first on, which would have been in the Oh, we were watching it after I was already living at Capalaba, after I'd left. My husband was living in a unit at Capalaba with my two children, and he moved to be close to me so we could support each other, because he was a dear friend to me through that ugly, hideously ugly, suicide-inducing divorce, right? It was so evil. So it was very sweet, and he lived not far away, but we had our own space, because we were just, and still our platonic friends. We had our own space. But we would individually in our own little units watch Absolutely Fabulous, and it was so cute. This is how close we were. We were so fond of each other, really. Like, we are like brother and sister. We're like two peas in the pod. So I kind of call him my adopted brother now, because it's stuck with me for so many years. So anyway, Ab Fab would finish, and I would literally count 10, 9, 8, 7, and the phone would go, and it'd be Jared. Oh my God, Tanya! Oh my God, that's so you! Because there was a scene where Eddie gets out of bed one morning. She's like, oh, and in that show they're always drunk or hungover, right? Which I was never, drinking or hungover, on rare occasions maybe, but I was always staggering around because I was always in a kind of a fugue state of exhaustion and dealing with that awful divorce, right? And I think for the first time had started psych meds too, so I was also a bit altered. So anyway, but there's a scene where Eddie gets up and goes, what am I going to wear for the day? And because the character's extremely wealthy and has a walk-in wardrobe of every kind of quirky avant-garde thing you can imagine, right? Which I wasn't wealthy like that. But she gets this like dowsing stick and goes, beep, 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 through the wardrobe. She goes, then she grabs something, she goes, that one. And Jared went, oh my God, that's so you, because I kind of would be like, what am I going to wear today? I am a bit like that. I never know what I'm going to wear each day. I just like, oh, that'll do. Sometimes I look fucking awful, by the way. And other times I look absolutely fabulous, darlings. But anyway, every time there was some little funny thing from that character, and sometimes from the character of Patsy, that was exactly what I had spoken about that day or done, or kind of the similar energy. So he would ring me, oh my God, that's so you. And I was like, I don't want to be Eddie, I want to be Patsy. And he's like, well, you can't. I went, why not? He says, because you're kind of an amalgamation of both of them. I was like, shit, is that good or is that bad? And then we used to joke, because the daughter Safi in Absolutely Fabulous, wears little woolen cardigans, buttoned up to hair, and glasses, and her hair was very severely pulled back, and she's very intellectual, but also the mother in the family, kind of the stable, relatively sane one, trying to hold it all together, right? So we joked that was Crystal, and then after a while it wasn't funny, because after a while Crystal would start turning to me and going, I'm the mother in this house, and I'd go insane. I went, you are not the mother, you are not my mother, and you're my daughter, and know your place in this known galaxy, and off I'd go. And then later on I'd look at her and think, no, really, she kind of is, because I was so fucked up at the time on psych meds and the strangulations and all the horror. I was not well. And then I said to Jared, never let her know that she's really taking on the mother role, because it's not appropriate and she can't be the mother. I'm the mother. And I went, but look at her. She's just like Safi. And then we'd look at each other and I would laugh and cry at the same time. But yeah, she tried to pull that stunt on me recently, because it started off as kind of a bit of a joke, really. I'm your mother. I went, no, you're fucking channeling my mother Gisela. And I pointed at her, get out of my daughter, you evil fucking bitch. And honestly, she was in a kind of partial trance, like she had actually been walked in by my mother. And how I know this, she's a very good actress, my daughter, and she's quite capable of playing me like that. She's an excellent actor, but I know she wasn't acting in that moment because when I screamed, "Get the fuck out of my daughter," she turned like this, looked at me kind of astonished, and I saw this light flicker in her eyes, and it was whatever it was had gone. And I went, "Oh, there you are." Now, my daughter's not schizophrenic or schizoaffective, anything like that, but she is a shaman like me. You know, I raised them with, with all the knowledge that I was gifted, teaching them how to protect ourselves and, manage with the spirituality that we have. But yeah, every now and then my mother jumps into her, and I can tell because she gets really savage and vicious and will say the most awful, cruel things. And I'm standing there usually in shock, trying not to cry because I don't want to cry and feed that entity, and give it the fucking satisfaction. And sometimes she makes me cry, I swear to God. So anyway, but this particular evening when this happened, when I went, "Get out of my," because I knew. We'd come back from Springbrook, actually. We'd had a lovely day out. We actually had interactions with Faye, which was amazing. Showed up in all our photographs. Completely astonishing that was. But she either brought something back from Springbrook, or my mother jumped into her because we were open and all spiritually innovated by our experience in Springbrook with the Fae, right? So when that piece of shit jumped into my daughter, I went, "Get out now, you're not welcome here." Definitely not allowed to jump into my daughter. But yeah, the way she turned her head and went and kind of snapped out of it, I realised she wasn't faking it. And then she became sweetness and light, like literally switched. So whatever that was that had been riding on her energy left. She was like, "Oh, well, anyway, Mum, let's have a nice cup of tea." And she was so sweet. And here's the trippy fucking thing. Similar thing happened when I came home from my gallbladder surgery. She picked me up in the morning, and I had spent the morning having a massive Bodician berserker fight with the hospital team. In fact, they called the whole team up so I could tell them individually exactly what low-level entities I thought of them and describe what they had done to me and how awful it was. The charge nurse stepped forward and said, "Well, what have you got to say about the nursing?" And I said to her, "Oh," I said, "you're the charge nurse." She said, "How do you know that?" I said, "Well, you're the boss, aren't you?" She just smiled. They were freaked out that I even knew their individual designation because I was so open spiritually from coming back from that near-death experience that I felt that I was in some surreal fucking movie and it wasn't real, but it was real, all right. It was so real. And so I said, "No," I said, "the nursing staff on Ward C were perfectly wonderful." I said, "In fact, it was one of your nurses that came when I stopped breathing and heard the oxygen meter that they put on your thumb screaming." I said, "That thing was screaming." I was so annoyed. I took it off momentarily, and I went, "Don't worry, I put it back on." But I said, "Your nurses were very good. It was only one nurse," I said, "that was an evil bitch." And they looked at me and I went, "Well, there's always one, isn't there? In any hospital, there's always one." And they were like, but they were a bit astonished how lucid and clear and how I could describe exactly blow by blow what happened in the lead up to the surgery. So it was actually pre-admission that had triggered me. Some sleazy fucking anaesthetist rubbing aside going, "Oh, what do you do?" Treating me like I'm some dirty, scrubbed out old whore. I was livid. So anyway, and then after nearly dying, And then having medication withheld, when I was writhing in agony, I went off my chops. That was one thing too many. So anyway, then my daughter picked me up. I don't want to make this about my daughter, really. I don't hate her. She's my daughter. I love her. She's blood of my blood, flesh of my flesh. But I'm just explaining how she gets jumped in peak emotional experiences by my evil mother. And I'm sure that's what's happening. So she picks me up. She's all het up because she said she couldn't find a park and some man was behind her being nasty and giving her the finger. So she starts screaming at me. I've come out of the hospital literally traumatised after fighting, telling all the hospital's team how awful it was and how that must never happen again to any patient, especially a complex PTSD trauma survivor like me, and if it ever happens again, they're an absolute disgrace. And on I went and on I went and on I went. So I literally walked out of that hospital, discharged myself early, walked out, and writhing in agony I was. And then my daughter, I get in the car and she starts screaming at me too. So off we went again, another ding, 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 round two. But I'm looking at her, she's driving, and I'm looking at her and I'm thinking, am I actually dead? And is this some hellscape nightmare? Am I trapped in limbo? For a brief moment, I thought maybe I am dead. Like maybe it was so evil and nasty and vicious. I thought this can't be real. So I'm sitting in the car saying to myself, this can't be real. This is so beyond awful. I cannot be experiencing this. This is beyond sadistic and evil. So anyway, I asked her to drive me to the pharmacy down on Logan Road to get pain relief. And she's screaming at me and I'm screaming back. At one point I went to jump out the car and she went to punch me. She pulled her fist back like she was going to punch me in the face. Oh, it was just so awful. But I looked at her and I thought, you're not you right now. And I don't know who I am because I was in full warrior goddess berserker mode, but I was still keeping it, like I still had some level of control happening, like something protecting me, right? Like just holding it together. And I kept thinking, I've just got to get home. I just got to get home, have a cup of tea and go back to bed, because none of this day is, nothing that's happening on this day is normal. It really wasn't. So anyway, I got through that. But I only bring that story up because in a crisis, my kids aren't there for me. And that's not the first time, though one or both of them have been vicious to me when I've just had major surgery. They were pretty fucking awful to me when I had the hysterectomy and bladder repair and vaginal repair after the prolapse. 3 operations for the price of one in one go I had. Well, they just did it while they're up there, you know. It's like you're just a piece of meat. Cut you, stitch you, rip out the uterus, fix the bladder. They had a great time, all those surgeons, practicing on my body, literally practicing. Look, to be fair, they did a very good job. It's only the TVT tape that was awful, should not have been installed in me. The rest of it was excruciatingly painful though. Oh dear goddess. And I came home thinking, oh, I don't know how I've survived that surgery. I really didn't. Because I got a bladder infection. I was in hospital for 5 days. I was only supposed to be in there for 3 days. Oh, it was awful. And the nurse would come down every day. You're going to pee today, Tanya. You're going to pee normally today. We're wanting 300 mils. And I was only passing 30 mils at a time for days and days, freaking out that I'd never pee again. So can you see why I'm traumatised by the prospect of having Botox in there and being told I may not be able to pee, or I may have what they call retention and not be able to pee? Because that has actually happened to me post-surgery, right? 2007. So I'm utterly fragile and terrorised, and frankly should be acting out everywhere, finding myself a gorgeous man and making mad, passionate love, but why inflict your woes on someone else, right? Anyway, I'm not sure I can now. I have too much fun being wild, going dancing, blowing kisses to my beautiful friends who I know do like me, love me and admire me, and my platonic friends, and just living in that kind of fantasy land that I found my tribe, and my tribe has included me and loved me, and it's probably all fantasy too. But look, in the meantime, I'm enjoying my nights out and living my best life, and it's very important to me to have that level of joy and music and dance and creative expression, given how unwell I am right now and how unwell I have always been in my life, darlings. That's why I am the way I am today, constantly going, woo, woo, woo. I'm going to live my best life, no matter what, no matter who, no matter how, and off I go. Anyway, so, yes. So my daughter not being in my life is a seeping wound too. But on the other hand, it's also kind of a relief because, I'm feeling fragile and a bit vulnerable, and I don't want anyone that's toxic and being nasty to me. I really don't. Even if it's not her doing it and just that entity that spawned me, it's too much. It's too much to cope with being, if I have anyone toxic or nasty in my life now, I'm immediately like, ding, gone. I don't have the energy all the time to waste on people that are not genuine and not loving and not kind. I really don't. So here I've taken a photograph of, because I'm a natural ancestral witch, people. So I've taken a photo of the moon. Can you see it? There. It's a beautiful moon. The moon is mine. Yes, so beautiful waning moon. The green orb is reflection of my lens protectors, not spirit. But I love that it turned a green love heart. Let me look at that again. Doesn't particularly look like a green love heart, but it must have looked like that in the screen at the time, or I wouldn't have said that. So there you go, people. Oh yes, it did. In the next photo you can see it quite distinctly. Looks like a love heart. Here we go, people. Mama T gets her love wherever she can. Because love is the law, people. Love is the fabric of the multiverses. Never ever forget. There it is, you can see it now. Love your birdies. Love your true beloveds. Make love, not war. That's a bit rich coming from a warrior goddess, isn't it? But Mama T can be very romantic and passionate and loving. I can. And not to manipulate anyone. Authentic, genuine love pours out of me. That's why I get so devastated when people are cruel and actively try to harm me, right? There's no need for that behaviour. Just be loving, be kind. It doesn't cost you anything. It doesn't take anything away from you. In fact, it enriches your life. Even the love I poured into dead shit men like Dave and Marco and, a few others over the decades. Only a few though. I'm careful about falling in love with people. I have to be to protect myself. But anyway, the love I poured into those men that were false and feckless and sadistic and cruel, I used to think was wasted, and I used to grieve that I was unloved and unrequited, and that I'd poured so much energy into those men. Oh my God, David Davidson, I poured so much energy into him that he haunted me when he died. But anyway, I grieved I grieved for decades about the waste of my love being wasted, right? And there is still a bittersweet agony that comes with that I did give so much of my spirit away to people that weren't genuine, that were really quite awful to me. But then in recent years, only very recent years, probably the getting of wisdom from aging and 25 years of therapy, I've realised that love was never wasted. Look at the energy that I'd poured into David Davidson that gave his spirit the mana, the power, the strength to stomp up my front steps for 4 consecutive nights and smash his fist on the door. Like the first night, it was so loud and so it sounded like a real 3D person was actually at my door, and it's only when I opened and saw that there was nothing there that I freaked out. It was almost a 3D manifestation, right? I mean, I couldn't see him, but that energy that could replicate the sound of boots and the sound of fists was intense. Well, I got to thinking about it. He could not have done that, manifested that level of energy to try to get to me at my front door without all the energy I had poured into him 16 years prior, when I was deeply in love with him, by the way. So I thought, oh, my love wasn't wasted. That energy got channeled into different ways, though. Hopefully it made someone else's life beautiful, because it didn't make mine beautiful, which is what I'm bitter about. But by the same token, it was authentic, it was real, and it was powerful. And yeah, someone else benefited from it quite markedly. Now Charlie gets my authentic, energetic, loving, sweet, loving child. And look, even my daughter bird is trying to bite me. What is it about my children disrespecting my spirit? Yes, quickly look busy and preen herself. She knows when she's being naughty. Don't you, Charlie? Yes, you do. You know, don't do that. Are we going to have a fight? Are we going to have a fight? No. She loves me, that bird. You love your mother, don't you, Charlie? Inspired by listening to the Esoterica, I love that Dr. Justin Sledge. I love Esoterica podcast on YouTube. If you're into occult subjects and mythology and esoteric topics, watch him. He's brilliant. Inspired by listening to the Esoterica talks on the Zohar. Zohar is a book of Kabbalah written in the 1500s, I believe. And Zohar means illumination. And it's a mystical text, very, very powerful text. And in Kabbalistic Judaism, or ultra-Orthodox often study Kabbalah, but you don't have to be an Orthodox Jew to study Kabbalah. But anyway, there's 2 forms of Kabbalah. There's the traditional Jewish mysticism, and then there's the magical Kabbalah, which is spelt with a Q, but it all comes from the same roots and the same knowledge, or the basis of it is kind of the same. Mama T lit, so in honour of, inspired by, let me go back. I'm so tired, people. Wake up. Back in the room, Tanya. Can't leave right now. Inspired by listening to the Esoterica talks on the Zohar, Mama T lit the Shabbat candles in honour of the Holy Shabbat, which reminds me I need to buy some more. I don't observe the Shabbat, I go dancing each Friday night, but it's nice to light the candles anyway, just as a nod to the multiverses, that in my heart I'm still a Jew, right? Kinda, sort of, in a weird way. This little heathen, daughter of the gods, will be out dancing tonight, according to my usual shamaniac. Did you see what I did there? Shamaniac practice. I'm not really a maniac, people. Unless someone really, really provokes me, then look out. But I'm not really a maniac. I'm nothing like my parents. They were completely unstable, both of them. I will dance with the spirits, the Fae and the Holy One in all manifestations, under the blessed and protective eye of the One who neither slumbers nor sleeps. Insomnia is not just for menopausal women, winky face. Well, if you are an entity, a creator of universes, multiverses perhaps even, you don't have time to sleep, man. Constantly co-creating with all your little creations. Isn't that right, Charlie? She says, Mama, you haven't created anything lately. I did. I made that beautiful bracelet, or I redid it. I wore it out last night, my snake bracelet. Oh, I love it. I'm so proud of it. But I haven't created anything new from scratch, right? I want to, but I need silver. I need silver and gold and gemstones. I need to learn how to set stones, Charlie. I did buy some teeny tiny 3mm, I think they're called London Blue topaz stones, and two little 4mm ones. But I'm not game to try flush setting yet. I have these little blocks where I'll buy the thing to inspire me to, try the next level, the next something new that I haven't done before that will be hard because I'm self-teaching. And then I chicken out. That's why it's taken me, 3 years on my silversmithing jewellery journey to get as far as I've come this long, because I would up level and then I'd be like, no, that's too hard for me. And then I'd go back down going, oh, well, I have to learn how to do this first. Or I have to learn how to do that first. Wax on, wax off, spinning on a dime. And then one day, as if inspired by an angel or a muse, I'll call it the Greek muse, I would suddenly get up and go, I'm going to, like that beautiful blue pendant that I lost that was found and given back to me, that was inspired by the muses. Just some switch would go off and the brain said, you're going to make that little blue halite stone you've had since 1992 into a pendant, and you're going to do it today and you're going to succeed. And I remember going out there, soldering it all, thinking, I can't do this. This is beyond my skill set. But I did do it. I did succeed. And it's a little bit amateurish in some ways, but I did it. And it was literally, I had an angel on my right shoulder, because at one point I freaked out when one of the components kept popping off and I couldn't get it to solder down. And I started freaking the fuck out. There's a lot of energy went into that pendant. It's probably why it came back to me, right? Because so much love and determination and grit and sweat went into it. And so this little voice beside me said, don't give up. You can do it. You've done most of the pendant perfectly fine. It's just this one little piece. You're just going to have to go in again and you can do it. And it took me 3 goes to get this little piece down. Did she just poop? No, but she's gonna. I can feel it coming on. And it succeeded. And then when it succeeded and when I finished and I cleaned it up and polished it and successfully set the stone in its completed state, I looked at it and went, how the fuck did I do that? It was almost magical and miraculous, right? But then I realised if I can achieve things that I thought I couldn't and that were impossible, then I can achieve anything, babies. Even maybe manifest a true love partner in my life who's madly, truly, deeply, devotedly, loyally, faithfully in love with me. Well, you know why I put that manifestation out constantly. After my previous history with men that were just awful beyond words. Awful. I keep asking for the one, right? The one that adores me and only me. So anyway, I was sort of thinking, oh, that sounds selfish, but it's not. Someone who truly loves you and wants to be with you, not me and every bloody other woman in the club or the scene or wherever you mix with. It's not nice when you're treated like that. Anyway, here's my Shabbat candles lit up in honour of the gods, plural really, the Holy One in all manifestations. The One, my jealous God. So it's making me co-create with making my jewellery, and I got all despondent about the fact that nothing sells and Valentine's Day is coming, and I probably should have promoted my jewellery and tried to push it out into the world, but it feels like prostitution. It feels like if I have to force my stuff on people, then it just feels icky and I won't do it. This is why I'll probably never thrive, people. I refuse to live in icky, in the land of ick. I've always been that way. I'm a hard worker. You know, when the muse is with me, like that pendant, I worked very hard on it. But when it's completed and I've done the work, I'm like, right, you know. And the things that I have made for selling, I'm like, take great pride in it. I actually got it out yesterday, not yesterday, the day before, my big cutlery canteen that upcycled and revamped. And I got all those little perspex things that my friend Peter had cut up for me, and I drilled all the holes in for earrings. And I put all the jewellery that I have ready for sale if I ever go back to the markets. Oh dear goddess, it's like being tortured too. But anyway, never had any success in the markets in the last 3 years, so there is that. Mind you, only went twice to 2 years. Twice, 3 times in 2023 and 1 time last year. It was such an epic failure. Jared said, we're never going to the markets again, Tanya. I was like, but we need to keep trying, Jared. No, I'm done, Tanya. And I was like, Jared, I've had 3 epic failures. You've only had 1 and you're already quitting on me, right? But he was so ill, he almost died, and I've not been well either. So I'm not flogging a dead horse. But anyway, I lifted up the lid of the canteen and I went through and I put all the earrings that I had made on the little perspex, and it all looks very neat and tidy and lovely, and I'm happy with that. But I do need to try and sell it somehow. I'm not going to make it in time for Valentine's Day. It's in 4 days' time. And you know what? It doesn't matter. You know, I have a website up on my Instagram. If people want to look at my jewellery and buy anything, then they're free to do so. It's like, I'm not going to flog a dead horse, and I'm not going to force my jewellery on people, and I'm certainly not going to prostitute myself for $1 like a crack whore, you know, and make a goddamn fool of myself. I thought about making a video for Instagram, just displaying it, showing it all displayed out so people can see it all in one place and kind of get maybe inspired. I might do that, because that way it's not forcing it on anyone, it's just a bit of promotion. There's nothing wrong in promoting, but I don't know. It's all too hard. It's all too hard, and I kind of lost Charlie. I lost the will to try and turn it into a business, because I realised I need money for that. Need more silver, need more expensive equipment, and I'm pushing shit uphill, people. So that's kind of why, just chewing my hair thing, that can't be happening. Kind of why I kind of gave up, kind of, sort of. But I'll keep making things as I can afford, bits of silver and stuff. If nothing else, just for my own satisfaction and creativity and joy, right? Like I take great joy in going dancing. I can still do that, I guess, as the muse comes upon me, but that muse nearly kills me each time. The last time when I worked on that snake bracelet, 3 whole days of sweating and getting very distressed. And by the way, I wasn't well then. It was only, a week or so ago, 2 weeks ago. I was so fucking ill, pushing myself to complete it. She's pooed down my back, hasn't she? Charlie, I was going to wear this dress out tonight. It's going to be all dirty. Can't even reach. So, yeah, it was like the drive, the creative drive and the muse was intense. This is a lot of my personal magical spiritual energy in that bracelet too. So, anyway, it's like closed circuit TV. It just stays with me in my own little tiny Tanya world, going nowhere. But you know, at least I know what I'm capable of making now, and I take great joy and pride in that. I've come a long way in 3 years, trust me. So I continue reading. We're still in, what year were we in, people? I forgot. Oh dear goddess, my poor brain. We're still in 2023, last year. Gosh, too much segueing today. Can you tell that I'm excited though? I'm really excited today. I feel like something wonderful's just unfurling, like a red carpet, not a bisque, pinky, beigey, icky coloured carpet. No, a fabulous red road for me to walk on. Not literally, people. Not red carpet Hollywood style. I'm just talking about walking my walk and talking my talk and taking delight in what's left of my life, people. Anyway, still in 2023, 2:05 p.m. I'm home from visiting the skin doctor to get the stitches out, all done. However, I feel very strange in the head, like something huge is about to happen. Here we are again. 12 months ago, I was waiting for something huge to happen. Oh, you know what? I probably pick up on the zeitgeist of all the excitement everyone feels about Valentine's Day, which to me is just a nothing day. Nothing happens in my world on Valentine's Day. Trust me on that, babies. But only because I'm single and don't have a loving partner yet. Yet. I like how I threw in yet, because you've got to keep it real, people. Like something huge is about to happen. Yes, Gaga. Yes, Tanya. I dragged myself there, then went to Hungry Jack's, thinking my weird mood. Oh, I am Poopy Kindon. Oh, Charlie. Thinking my weird mood was hunger related, which sometimes that will affect my mood. I ate my food in the car park, still felt off. I drove to get petrol. I had to drive further as the petrol station at Stone's Corner is demolished. This seems to happen frequently now. Demolished, vacant service stations. And I noticed driving up through East Brisbane, the second time I was driving to the Brooklyn Standard, there were a lot of empty buildings. It's actually frightening how many businesses have gone to the wall. We can thank our COVID epoch for that. So it's why I'm not stressing about not selling the jewellery, because like, if long established businesses are going broke, what fucking hope have I got starting one in the middle of this horror? So, calm your farm, Tanya. Calm your farm. I drove to the servo servo is Australian slang for service station or gas station, by the way, just in case, you know, my American audience or European audience watch my videos. I don't get many viewers because who wants to listen to trauma processing on a daily basis, am I right? But, you know, I do have some friends in America that watch me. So anyway, I drove to the servo at Coorparoo, got petrol. I had considered driving 30 minutes drive to Browns Plains Recycling Centre to look for a square bathtub to replace my leaky one. But it's too hot and I am too out of my head today. Not worth a long drive when I feel this mood disordered. So I came straight home. Beauregard was so happy to see me that as I lay down on my bed, he jumped all over me and licked my face. But some of the impending doom caused by anxiety can wash away now. My stitches are out, I have petrol, I am free, I am happy, I am a vibrant, capable, talented, beautiful woman. Well, maybe not beautiful, but, you know, I'm not doing too bad for almost 59. I need not languish. Oh, that was loud. I need not... Don't do that again. Okay, do it again. Do whatever you want, whatever, Charlie. You is the birdie. I need not languish in the shadowlands of my own mortality and despair. It's all good. I will dance tonight, but first I must rest. Recalibrate my body, mind and spirit. Be gentle with myself. Mama's got to be gentle with herself, Charlie. 10th of February 2022. I had a beautiful day yesterday. In the midst of my emotional breakdown over lawn mowing. Oh dear goddess. It is the bane of my existence, these lawns. I mean, I could ask to live in a tiny little fucking apartment somewhere with no grass at all, but then I'd feel like I was in a prison, and I would literally start the process of dying then for real. The only thing keeping me alive here is my lovely garden, my sacred space home, right? That's it. This is it, kids. Even though it stresses the gills out of me, when the lawns don't get mowed in a timely manner, I'm still holding on to my little sacred space home here. I applied for a NILS loan, that is a no interest loan scheme loan, and found the women from Good Shepherd to be very kind and supportive and indeed nurturing. I don't know yet if my application was successful, but I am grateful for the kindness and support, especially their financial counsellor from YFS, who told me that despite my many years of poverty, I had obviously managed my limited finances quite well, as I have no debts. I felt less like a failure and a schmuck. I told her I'm very careful with my pension money, although it is almost impossible to save large enough sums of money to give me a buffer for larger items like beds or lawnmowers or fridges, etc. I have been very fortunate to have had several actually, protecting, loving earth angel who has gifted me things I most needed. Rose told me that when I am in the NILS program, it will mean that when I pay off the lawnmower, I can then continuously apply for assistance with other items as needed, which I haven't done, but I kind of need to do that again because I need a new mattress for my bed. So, but you know, even though I paid off the NILS scheme, it was $50 a fortnight, which isn't a lot, but it was a lot when I also, I'm paying off my Afterpays and Zip Pays, and because I do have a debt now with Zip Pay, which is, you don't need to know the minutiae of that, how much I owe, but anyway, to me it's a fair amount, and so I'm upset about that. I don't want to incur more debt by getting a no-interest loan scheme and then having to pay 2 lots of $50 a fortnight, if that makes sense. So I'm kind of skating on glass, as I've always done, but at the moment it's manageable because I can pay off my Zip Pay each fortnight, and I'm chipping away at that slowly, and I had to buy a blind for the back bedroom because the one that I found on the side of the road some years ago finally fell apart, and I decided to buy a new one because I figure it will last longer and it's not half broken to begin with when I bring it home, right? So I spoilt myself a bit lavishly, but now I'll be paying that off as well. Gah. Anyway. Yes, you was a beautiful girl, Charlie. I'm still going to keep an eye out in the second-hand shops though, because the blind in my bedroom was also from the side of the road and is also a bit dodgy, and I expect that to break soon. So I'll need to replace that eventually, and I really should get 2 wooden blinds for these front windows here in the lounge, right? Which I haven't bothered with in all these years, but I just think it'd be nice to have that little bit more lockout and privacy, especially at night. It hasn't bothered me though. I usually sit here with the windows open on a nice breezy night and look out into the neighbourhood in the darkness and feel like I'm queen of my own domain. But yeah, I'm conscious that I'm going to need new blinds bit by bit, chip away at it bit by bit, because old stuff breaks, Charlie. I told her that the next item would be a new mattress, but other than that, I don't really need anything, which is true. I'm okay for now. The last big expense late last year was I needed tyres for the car. That was $660 or so. But you need tyres. I had to spend that money. It hurt, but I had to spend that money on tyres. Got to have the car safe. Not needing anything is a state of equilibrium and prosperity for me. Amen, sister. I'm praying I get approval so I can be independent of the ugliness of dealing with lawn mowing contractors who are rude or unreliable, or in the case of Clary, downright sexually harassing. Yuck. I want to stay in my home as long as I can. Yes, darling. So having a good quality lawnmower means I can maintain the lawns and keep my home. I had my debrief with my psychiatrist, who told me that I had created my Byron Bay without the sea on my property, a safe haven and a beautiful garden where I can ground myself and relax and have peace away from the external COVID madness and evil inversions. He said he did not want me to downsize to a small unit, as he has seen my mental health stabilise in the past 2 years, primarily because of my little bubble with my garden and my cottage industry, new hobby, and my keeping myself isolated and safe as much as possible. I told him I was in the middle of one of my breakdowns over grass, but he said it's more than that. It's about keeping my home in safe space, and getting a lawnmower means I no longer have to feel invaded or jump through hoops with men just to keep my home in a pristine condition, and that their various inappropriateness destabilizes me and indeed feels life-threatening. So I am not being silly or catastrophizing at all, which is true. Then the miracle that came out of the blue around 2 p.m. was that Crystal invited me to go to Myala Forest at Mount Glorious with her. So we left at 4 p.m. and did indeed have the most glorious time, even though the walk was 4.2 kilometres down to the waterfall and back, and I struggled with my asthma, but pushed ahead like a happy little berserker. I do love my daughter. You know, we have had some wonderful times together, and there have been moments of such sublime joy. I just wish there was more of it, you know? Anyway, I brought home some bunya nuts we found there. Crystal bought pizza from Pizza Capers with calzone and chips. Is that how you pronounce it? Calzone or calzone? I think it's calzone. And chips. I love chips. And we ate splendidly and contentedly. Then I soaked the bunya nuts in boiling water so we could peel them. They tasted bland, so I think they would be better cooked. But it was another new experience. Real Aboriginal bush tucker. Crystal was very loving yesterday. To you, Crystal, may you continuously be loving, my darling. Abandons me when I think I'm dying, right? Fuck me. No, please don't. Literally don't. And I told, if I could find a decent man who adores me, then yes, please. But you know what I mean, darlings. No more being fucked over by assholes. I can't go there. Just can't. This is why I'm so difficult to let a man in my life. It's absolute abject terror of how badly it can go wrong. And I've lived that nightmare so many times that I know exactly what can go wrong and how dramatically and suddenly too, and out of left field. I must not cry over it, must not show weakness, darlings. But to my true beloved ones out there, thank you for existing and being sweet and loving and noble and kind. I appreciate you. So on that note, Crystal was very loving yesterday, and I told her I'd had a lovely day, felt very nurtured in the midst of my worries about the lawns. Lynn organised a man to come to mow the lawns tomorrow, so that is another great hurdle to overcome, another kindness. I am hoping I can buy the lawnmower soon so I can begin my pathway to independence. Well, I did, and it didn't work out because this lawn is just so massive. Even with a self-propelling lawnmower, I couldn't do the job. So I get help now from my caseworkers, Islamic Women's Association. Even the man they send to do my lawns, Abdul, even he struggles now to keep it under control in summer with all the rain we've had and the heat. And really, this lawn needs a ride-on mower, but I can't afford one. They're too expensive. But that's the only way I can keep this land under control, is with a ride-on mower, which creepy fucking Clary used to bring a ride on. He'd do the whole job in 20 minutes, including whippersnippering. Just, mind you, he drove that ride on like a freaking maniac. He'd be like, his hair flying in the breeze, whee, around the whole yard, flirt with me, whippersnip, and then go. I was always glad when he left quickly. By the gods, he was a pain in the ass. He was a pain in my ass. But that ride-on mowing was fabulous, darlings. So I'm manifesting a ride-on mower of my own so I can be independent. Dream on, dreamer. Dream on, psychedelic dreamer. I love you. Oh, I love you, but you're full of shit, Charlie. Where did that go, Charlie? I don't know. I'm not going to be able to wear this dress tonight. It's going to need a wash. Dear goddess. Naughty girl. I should have just worn a sarong. And the humidity is all of a sudden intensifying. I've turned beet red and I'm sweating, so on goes the air conditioning. One moment, I'll be back. I'll be back. Oh, do you love my old lady grunts and groans? It's hideous. I must stop doing that. I'll never be a supermodel and never get a man that way. Grunting and groaning. Never mind, darlings. I don't need a man. Don't need anything or anyone. But I want one. That's the distinction, is I want one. Someone who values and cherishes and adores me and treats me with honour and integrity and respect. I simply can't feel passionate about a man who's creepy with me. It's an instant passion killer. Instant passion killer, my darlings. But if they're sweet and noble and decent and loving, oh, babies, I can fall in love with you like that, and I have to rein it back in then, because then I realise, wait a minute, let's just review the situation. Just tread carefully, Tanya. Have to hold on to my kintsugi'd heart. Sometimes spin it, flick, spin, behave, heart. Oh well. It's an unusual heart because I'm an unusual person. That's just the way the cookie crumbles, babies. All right, so where was I? Oh, begin the pathway to independence, hoping to buy my lawnmower, and yeah, that didn't pan out, but I tried. At least I tried. But I have seen how my distress calls have been witnessed and my prayers answered in a matter of 4 days. So I can be a powerful manifester. If I wanted to be in a loving partnership or married to a man, I could do it just by sheer will alone. But I don't, because I like people to come to me clean and clear with heartfelt intentions and have the freedom to know that they've chosen me by their own free will, so that the love can be beautiful and authentic and real this time. I don't want to manipulate anyone's energy, and by the gods, I don't want a man who manipulates my energy either. So that's just a recipe for fucking disaster. Been down that pathway too many times with men. Anyway, I am grateful and happy about the lawn mowing situation being rectified back then. 2 days ago, my elderly friend Elsa told me, witnessing my tears and anxiety, that's how distressed it makes me when I can't get things done, right? Really almost kills me. Told me that I need not worry and should sit in my garden and sing. I said to her bemusedly, "What shall I sing about?" She replied, "Well, I sing every day. Dear God, get these people far away from me." Like, I have to laugh, but she was 93 at the time and dementing, right? Anyway, I laughed uproariously, which I probably shouldn't have encouraged her in that. Poor old Biddy's in a home now, but by the gods, that was hilarious. The way she delivered it too. I sing every day. Get these people far away from me. Oh, I love her dearly. She was so much like me and had my spirit, the old girl. I used to look at her and say, "But looking at you, Elsa, I see my future." She goes, "What do you think of it?" I said, "I don't anticipate living to 93. The thought of that is just astonishing." I said, "But I look at you and I think, by the gods, I might actually do that." She was like, "Don't, love. Just don't do it, love. Trust me, don't." And we'd look at each other and we'd kind of laugh, but we'd kind of cry a little bit as well. She totally vibed with me, that old girl. Oh, I love her so much. Okay, I'm not allowed to visit her anymore because I said she won't remember me. But you know what? Her spirit would know that I was there, and that's the point. It's not about me or her kids. It's about her being visited, even though she lies there gaga and doesn't know shit. Her spirit knows. But I can't convince her materialist, rationalist, mad scientist fucking son to do the honourable thing and take me to visit his mother before she dies, can I? So what do? You just have to accept it. But I'm not happy about it. I asked him last week, "Are you going to visit your mother?" He said, "No, what's the point? I did a lot for my mother and now she doesn't even know I'm there. There's no point in me being there. It's empty." And I'm like, he was so devoted to her while she was living in the house with him. He was a good son to her, I must say. He was. But he was so devoted to her, and now he's just detached. That's how he's coping with her imminent death, I suppose. It's a complete act as if she's already dead and not there, and it's awful. I just stared at him. I was a good son to my mother. I said, "Yes, you were. Now you're not actually a good son to her anymore." But I couldn't tell him that, because why dig into the wound, right? But if I had a choice, would be visiting her at least once a week, just holding her hand and talking to her, whether she could acknowledge me or not. Because you don't just discard someone because they're dying, people. Actually, Crystal, go and visit Peter down the road. He's your new daddy. He thinks like you. Just abandon the old folks when they're vulnerable and fragile and a bit weakened, and, kick them in the face and leave them for dead. Like, just, go for it, babe. motherfuckers. I swear to God. But then I'm projecting my own heart onto people that don't have my heart. This is the problem that I've struggled with in life, is thinking that most people, because they're humans, are like me, right? No, there's very few people left like me, and I don't know whether it's because of this culture or whether it's just narcissism and sadism has been developed into our gene pool over the last 30, 40 years, or what the fuck it is. But it's truly disturbing how the elderly and the older and the more vulnerable are just discarded like shucked off husks. They sucked every bit of goodness out of us, and then we're just like, ping. Oh well. In the Inuit tribes, they'd just float us out on the ice and leave us for dead, right? But that's a different differentiation, because in that culture, literally, there was no way to sustain people out in the frozen wastelands. Like, that's different. Like, I get that. Probably I would say, yeah, float me out on the ice, kids. You can't feed me or look after me now. It's time to go. But we're living in what's left of Western civilization, where instead our elderly are put into waiting rooms of death and then discarded. It's evil. In that respect, it's kind of really, not kind of, not sort of, it's fucking evil. But anyway, hopefully I'll die before that happens to me. I can only pray to the gods. Let me out before I'm treated like that, like a piece of shucked off, shit-stained toilet paper with no real purpose anymore. That's why I've been fighting with making jewellery and fighting for my purpose, my space, my, a reason to be alive, and also to feel like I have value, that I'm not just shucked off like I was for 30 years. Oh dear goddess. Anyway, happy notes. I laughed uproariously when she said, "Dear God, get these people far away from me," as she is well loved and protected by her family. Well, she was back then. But she hates the loss of her freedom and independence, so I well understand her feelings of engulfment and frustrations. I sang with Crystal on the Mountain, Iris by the Goo Goo Dolls, which is my ode to my former lover. I know, pathetic, and again wasted on someone that wasn't worth a scrap of my heart. But it lightened my heart somewhat. And my beautiful friend, I talk about him as if we're lovers, and we're not. Don't get me wrong, people. But there's a beautiful energy between us. He's simpatico with me. And my friend Scott and Alter Egos. To you, Scott. Because he knows that's one of my songs, right, from all the years of watching me dance in front of him. So they start playing Goo Goo Dolls, and he's playing guitar, and then he just turns and just looks at me like this look of radiance and joy, because he knows it's my song. And I nodded, and off I went, and we were almost singing it to each other in a way. But don't get me wrong, it's nothing sus, nothing unkosher happening there. But it's just that moment of pure joy and agape love. And he's saying to me, I know this is meaningful to you, Tanya, this song. And it is indeed. And anyway, when I sing it now, I'm not singing it to that wastrel that wasted my heart for, well, really 7 years, because he backed off after about 7 years. So thank God, because it was toxic, and I was a bit toxic too, holding on to a man who didn't love me. That was also toxic, I admit. truth bombs come out of the Tanya every now and then. I stand in my own integrity. Well, anyway, hopefully the next time I sing that song to a man, it's received beautifully and honoured from my heart to his, right? Whoever you are out there that deeply loves me and values and appreciates me, I know you exist because I can feel your energy in my spirit every day as if you were already with me. And that's not just a wishful thinking manifestation. It's a love energy that's powerful and just circling around me. I don't know who that man is that will choose me, but he's very, very close to me. Maybe I'll meet him in maybe a year, maybe 2, but I can feel it. Just, slowly merging light bodies and hopefully one day merge in real world too. So, but in a good way, in a noble, honourable way. Putting that out to the multiverse every day because I don't want to hurt other people, other souls. You know, it has to be someone that's ready, willing, and able to be my man, and without any triangulations or complications, because that too is a seeping wound for me, people. Anyway, the agape love and the beauty and the magic is real and it's here now, people. I acknowledge that. Yes, Charlie. My grapevine's going berserk, but it never fruits. That's why I'm staring at it going. Nothing like singing your love out to the ether. And it feels like forever to touch you, 'cause I know that you feel me somehow. You're the closest to heaven that I'll ever be, and I don't wanna go home right now. Nothing like singing your love out to the ether, to nature, to the spirits that love us, nurture us, and witness us, and see what magic, spelt with a K, in the form of great, loyal, faithful, and stoic love comes back. Sigh. The Tanya, ever also the psychedelic dreamer, weaving love from her fragmented, kintsugi'd heart and blowing life back into it. It's beautiful and terrifying to the uninitiated. But here she is, people. Here she is. So thank you for that gift last night, gifting me not just that song, but all the music, all the wonderful songs. It really ennobles and enlivens me. I mean, I literally felt like death yesterday. And don't get me wrong, I'm still quite weary today, but I feel kick-started again to get through another week, right? This is why I dance, people, why it's so precious and important to me to have my dance. And my sweet friends around me too, by the way. And my worthy psychiatrist, who I also adore. And my birdie. 10th of February 2017. Just going to move my hair out the way because we know what that birdie bottom is capable of doing. Yes, you with your bottom, your cloaca. I know. You can't help it, you're rainbow lorikeet. You're all the same. You all have that problem, Charlie. It's because of your diet. I know. Do you like how I talk to her as if she's a human? It's actually quite funny sometimes. 10th of February 2017. I am spring cleaning in the stinking, sweltering heat of summer's worst heat wave. Oh, not as bad as this year's has been, by the gods. In my sarong, almost naked but sacred. Filth begone, sugar soaping my walls as Housing Commission still won't come paint the walls, and they are filthy anyway. I may have to buy the paint and paint the house myself. No, I think I'm going to have to go down to the local Member of Parliament and kick shit up, because I've lived in this house for 21 years in May and it desperately needs painting. And I think waiting 21 years is long enough. Like, come on, seriously? And why should I pay for the paint myself? Like, it's outrageous how I've been treated, really. Anyway, this was back in 2017, people. So here we are, 7 years later, right? Still not painted. Mama T has to go to war. I try not to stress about it though, because like, seriously, I'm unwell and I've got more important things to worry about, like getting well and getting happy and getting true love. And honestly, at the end of the day, I try not to sweat the small stuff, right? But every now and then the small stuff grinds my gears. Anyway, here I write. That way I will have hit the refresh button on my panic room devolution life. Ha ha. Spiral upwards in love, hope and happiness. Again. I have opened my home to couch surfers. So I want the house clean so I don't have to feel ashamed of myself. Well, anyway, that didn't work out either. It's too triggering for me. I hope I can get, not that the young man did anything bad or anything, don't get me wrong. It was just such an odd experience. Pardon me, having a stranger in my house. I hope I can get the walls clean, as I may have a house guest for a few weeks. If not, I'll have a clean house and a clean heart. Today I woke up feeling powerful and positive and thought, yeah, right, how long will that last? As long as I keep manifesting it, baby. So I will scrub this joint and get my house in order and expect good times, good vibes, and good people to enter my life. I closed the door on so many superficial users and abusers last year and this year too. True loves, true friends, always welcome. As I am decluttering my life, I discover that a tapestry I did when I was 9 years old has been gnawed on by moths. What the fuck? It is 43 years old. Wow. Time to live like Frozen and let it go. Laughing my ass off. And I did actually, a couple of years ago, let them go. Some of the tapestries anyway. Oh my, just had a shower to wash off the epic sweat from cleaning walls. Got only quarter of one room done and vacuuming and mopping floors. Too much too quick, ugh. Karen is on her way over to take me out dancing, which I was not going to do this weekend as so broke. But hey, she insisted on taking me out, so off we go again. I need to lie down for a while and put my feet up as I am so sore and tired. Still need to vacuum and mop the kitchen. I guess it can wait until tomorrow. 10th of February 2014. I spent today in recovery in bed. I slept heaps. Then in the late arvo, I got up, filled up the fish ponds, cleaned the filters, fed the fish. I'm very happy with my little fishies. Some of them are getting quite big actually. I'm now waiting for Crystal to bring back my car. And a yummy caramel tart she bought at Yatala Pie Shop. Nice. I feel like I want to go out, which is silly, as I have a slight headache from not drinking enough fluids. Which reminds me, as I was sleeping, so I'm guessing this wolf woman is feeling the waxing moon energies. I reckon Valentine's Day 2014 is going to be mad as it falls on the full moon. Time for the howling, the dancing, the stomping, the cavorting, the raising hell with my gal pals, then going home alone as usual. Ha ha ha. So that's true. I did go home alone on Valentine's Day as per usual, but it was a little bit prescient talking about it's going to be mad as it falls on the full moon and me feeling all juicy and wild because I hooked up with Dave on the night of the 21st and the 22nd of February 2014. So I had no idea that was going to happen, of course, when I was writing this on the 10th of February. But I was tuned in, people. I was tuned in. And I'm a bit tuned in again. So I'm getting my hopes up. Oh, but this time I want it to be someone genuine and authentic and loving and kind and, you know, who's ready, willing and able to be my partner. Not any more fucking feckless game playing fucking losers that were just cruel and sadistic. Nuh-uh, fool. There'll be none of that. And if there is, I don't think my heart can take another heartbreak like that ever again. It took me years. It took me about 6 years to recover from David Davidson. So we're talking that ended 2001, and I was still suffering for quite some years later. And it's taken me 10 years, which is odd that it's taken so long, to recover from Wiglet. And but that, again, that wasn't necessarily his fault either. That's my heart was so broken by the viciousness that piled on with him and his associates and those awful women that contributed to my suicide attempt. So I had to heal from all of that. And then I had to heal from the gallbladder surgery in 2019. So it's taken me a long, long time to reach this point in my being where I'm opening up to true love again, or the hope or the potentiates of true love. It's taken me that long. 10 fucking years. So it's probably why I'm a little bit flubbery and like, you know, looking at someone with genuine affection and, you know, admiration and, let's be real here, a tiny bit of lust as well, and feeling distressed and disappointed because that wonderful man's not available, right? And then having met that other man on the internet late last year, getting my hopes up about that too. He seemed quite genuine for a while there, for a few weeks, thinking, oh well, you know, love is the law, you know, choose the man who consistently shows up and proves by his heartfelt intentions and actions and words and energy that his love for me is authentic, choose that one and just let it just blossom and grow between us like a beautiful, much valued, much precious, shining jewel, right? And then that went bad too, and then I was like, oh, what the fuck? What the actual fuck? However, I can tell in my own spirit now that there is someone out there. There is. I can feel it powerfully and beautifully. And it's now up to that man to make his choice heartfelt, authentic and true, and let me know what is really mine and that he is really mine. And I haven't met him yet, but my spirit feels him with me every day, and I'm trying not to clutch tight because, again, not wanting to be possessive or be controlling of that energy, especially since I don't know who that man is yet, and he may not be in 3D reality. He may be waiting for me in the next dimension. He may be in another dimension. He may be, who knows? But I'm delighting in the love shown to me by my true friends. I really am. I'm very grateful and very, very blessed to have you in my life, even if it's only in that level, in that small container of being in that music space at the Brooklyn Standard, where we look at each other and we play off each other's energy with the music and my wild dancing. That is a beautiful gift, and I cherish it every week. I cherish it dancing for Ramjet as well, which I'll be dancing for next Friday, all being well and me not being ill or half crazy or whatever, I'm sure I'll be fine. I didn't think I was going to make it out dancing last night, especially after the annoyance of having to drive all the way back home to get my ID and then go back out again. I was like, oh, I was really quite intrepid last night, given how unwell I've been feeling. So Mama T, the Tanya, the psychedelic Trema, Miss Five can do anything and be anyone with heart and mind and positive intentions. And I'm glad I had the night out and had my dance. I'll probably collapse later on, but I can't because I'm going out with my beautiful Tarina tonight for her birthday. I'm looking forward to it. So here I continue. This is still in 2014. I was very good to my daughter. I gave her my brand new car to use a lot for work. When it was brand spanking new, I hardly fucking got to use it myself. It really was awful in a way, how I was treated. But again, I prioritised her needs over mine because I don't work and I'm at home anyway. And generously let her use my car so she could get to and from work and gigs and other various things. Even lent it to her to go to a wedding of a friend's once, which I thought was a bit much, quite frankly, but it was her friends and I wanted her to be happy and be with her friends. I'm a good mother. I've been walked on like a dirty old carpet, which I'm not going to allow to happen anymore, but I am a good mother. Maybe that's what the dream about the beige carpet and worrying about her having her stuff stashed across 3 separate bedrooms, spread everywhere, which she does do in real life, manifests her stuff. When she was in the UK, she had all stuff left all over Ireland and then was living in England and had to go back before she came home to Australia to gather up all her stuff in various abodes that she'd stockpiled in Ireland. I was like, why are you fucking hoarding when you're a traveller travelling in the UK? How did you manage to hoard so much stuff? She said, oh, people kept giving me things. And anyway, that's my daughter. That's who she is. She's a pack rat, as they say in American parlance. Anyway, I am missing my car, blech. No plans to go anywhere. Just hate the feeling of being a prisoner in my home and having my freedom curtailed. I slept till almost 1 p.m, still recovering from the mad weekend of dancing at Irish Murphy's. Pardon me. I haven't eaten yet, so I don't know where I'm getting all this fucking indigestion from. It's probably the medication. It's just awful. And outside the casino with my busker friend, George, who I noticed when I drove past the first time I drove in last night, is not there, so he's definitely in England. I hope he's in England. Sometimes he goes to hospital, but no, he'll be in England visiting his kids. I've decided that's where he is. See how I worry about my friends, even my busker friend? Bet he's not worrying about me. Oh well, c'est la vie, babies. I was a true and loyal friend to them all at the casino. All of them. Too true and too loyal. So fuck it. Poor old Brian, who rode with me into the sunset on the defunct motorbike on Friday, had no memory of this by Saturday night. Alcoholic blackout people. And I just wrote, ha ha ha. I told him I have photographic evidence and he wanted to see, but I'd left my iPhone in the car. I'll have to show him our antics next weekend. But you saw it the other day. I showed it to you in my other video. Oh yes, that was a crazy... Oh yes, it was my mother's birthday date. That was a crazy night that night, but we had fun, just being kids, like young kids, just being silly and frivolous. There's no sexual agenda with him either. That's why I really liked Brian. I was alone with him even in a dark alley one time. Perfect gentleman. But he loved me, that Brian. He really did love me. He was absolutely a perfect gentleman. Someone who respects my energy. I love that in a man who respects me. Oh, that will get you a long-term friendship or a loving relationship for however long it lasts if you respect my energy. The longer you respect my energy, the longer it lasts, babies. 6:39 p.m. Awake, aware, lungs still congested, but the dancing last night really gave me a boost. Yes, I can say the same thing 11 years later. Got home at 2:30 a.m, talked on Pal Talk, watched a movie on TV, went to bed at 5 a.m. I was really energized when I came home last night at 3:30. I was like tempted to not go on Pal Talk. I haven't gone on there for a few years now. But I was tempted to make my video that I'm making now when I came home with all my makeup and all my regalia. It's still done up for you. But I thought, no, Tanya, you've had such little sleep. So I had a hot bath and went to bed and passed out instead. But anyway, here I write in 2013, went to bed at 5 a.m, didn't sleep until after 6 a.m. So I lay there for an hour struggling, right? Really needed my 12 hours sleep today, but feel good for it. I've been out to give chooks a run before it gets dark and refresh their water and food containers. 2 eggs today. Hecate is still brooding. Oh, poor little Hecate. Anyway, thus concludes my readings of even date, the 10th of February 2024. It's currently 26 degrees Celsius, cloudy, showering with rain at the moment. Dismal grey skies to match my dismal Soylent Grey neighbourhood. Fuck, it's ugly. It's so fucking ugly. But here I am, pretty in coral pink. Coral pink and grey goes quite nicely together. I should stand against their fence and take selfies of me, colouring up the neighbourhood for them because, motherfuckers. I might do it later just for a bit of a laugh. Why not? I've got time to have my protest against our decline of Western civilization. So anyway, I notice there's a house opposite me, just up the hill slightly, that's been newly kind of renovated a bit. They're starting to wake up and come out of their greyness, people, because they've painted their house cream with terracotta kind of railings. And you know, that looks nice. The Tanya approves of that. The only problem is all their solar panels next to it, which take up a large part of their roof, facing me, are still charcoal fucking grey. I guess you can't do anything about colorising solar panels, but they have made an effort to brighten up their home at least. And the house next to it has got a grey sort of slate tile roof, but they've painted it like a mud brick brown. Look, I'll show you what I mean, people. I don't know if you can see it from the distance because I can't zoom it in. But yeah, those two houses up there and the house behind it, which will be housing commission like mine, is painted cream with brown trim as well. That actually looks like a fairly recent paint job too. How come they got a new paint job and I didn't? Meow, 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 meow. Anyway, calm my farm, Tanya. Calm my fucking farm. What do you think, Charlie? On that note, goodbye from sacred space at Titania's realm. I'm praying every day that my neighbours colorise their world, but paint costs a lot of money, people. So the idiots that only just finished painting their house grey, I'll have to be staring at that for at least 10 years. This is why I'm pissed off, people. Seriously pissed off. But then I don't sit here very often, look out the window. It's only when I'm making my videos, so I can go into denial about that and not exist in their grey world and stay in my psychedelic dreaming Technicolor one in my own little house, being happy with my Technicolor psychedelic half grey too. Birdie num num. And life is beautiful, people. And remember, Goo Goo Dolls, I love you madly. I love you deeply. I love you truly. But I'm behaving myself, people. Anyway, talk to you soon. I'll be back tomorrow with a new video. And hopefully I'll still be behaving myself tomorrow. And, I'm going to visit my friend Jared. So I will indeed be behaving himself because Jared does not tolerate the Tanya shenanigans unless he's participating in them, which is usually something very, fun and silly and childlike, like us going to reverse garbage and going through all the postcards like we did one time. That was delightful. Or dancing, walking through the rain at New Farm Park many years ago with Crystal amongst the rose gardens, and we were pretending to be fairies and Crystal was leaping out from rose bushes, and that was a lovely childlike sweet, silly, just absurdist kind of day. And that's why he's my friend, because we get to be inner children together, so that life's not always misery and trauma and seriousness. We need to do something mischievous and playful, people, because it's all been a bit too fucking serious lately, hasn't it? Especially the last 4 years. So retrieve your inner child and take your little boy and your little girl out and be carefree, people. Be carefree and dance through life for as long as you can, surrounded by people who genuinely love you. That's the moral of my story. So bye for now. Have a beautiful day, night, afternoon, evening in the space-time continuum. And know that Mama T loves you truly, madly, deeply. Here I go again, repeating myself. I am tired. So bye for now. I don't want to be boring. Goodbye. See you later, honeys. Check ya.